We are live. Hey, Seraph.
Hey everybody. Hi RL.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm not nervous at all.
Yeah, I bet not.
It's fine. It'll be fine. It's a very safe game.
Welcome to the Seraph block. Seraph will be running 2 games in a row, one of which is fantastic, and one of which
Rude.
is... No, I'm getting there! One of which is fantastic, and one of which is fantastic and was made by Seraph. So, yeah, and there's dev commentation on that, and also dev playing and commentation on that one.
You'll see. We brought out all the stops for this second run.
Yeah, I believe so. I think that will get things underway. You want me to count you down?
I thought you had one more thing you wanted to say.
Oh yeah, that's right. I have some donations here. I have $14 from Ape Minky, who gives us a less than 3 heart. Thank you so much, Ape Minky. I'm glad that we heart you too.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate that.
Yeah. And I have another one that says 2 Seraph runs in a row, followed by a community segment. Guess who's excited? It's me. Good luck, Seraph. Also, good job everyone for making it for 10K. That's from Fufoof, and that is a 533 and 65 cents donation.
Yo, Fufoof, thank you so much.
Fufoof is a quality human. Thank you so much, Fufoof. Shoutouts to Fufoof. Shoutouts to all of y'all. But I think now, this time, perhaps,
For real.
you are ready. Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. I'll count you down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so this is 140. We had a bunch of people in chat asking, what is this game? Well, this game is a geometry simulator. You play as a circle, a square, and a triangle. But more realistically, it is a rhythm-based music platformer. You will see very shortly that what I'm doing is going around and collecting little orbs, and I dunk them in bigger orbs, which turns on more music, but also changes the level so I can actually proceed to the next area. So this little orb actually is moving in time with that sound effect. And once I dunk it here, we get some music kicking in. And now these platforms start to move around. You see there's some static there. You kind of don't want to touch that. Bad things happen if you do. I have to kind of stop talking occasionally during this run because a lot of the jumps are timed to sound effects and timing. Oh, I missed it. Grab it this way. Timing to the music. And at one point, you'll actually hear me counting the beats under my breath, or maybe aloud, depending on how important it is, just to make sure I don't miss a trick. Also of note, if you are in the space where a block is going to appear, when it appears, you die. So you kind of don't want to do that. Okay, let me just jump on this little guy, and then... This looks scary, but it's not. You just kind of roll off and jump, and you land safely. We wait for this to come down, snag it, and then wait for the elevators again. Fun fact, this is a common place for me to accidentally lose a run because I jumped too soon there. So I deliberately stopped talking, counted till I knew it would be safe, and then jumped. So we haven't had any deaths yet, and, you know, ideally we won't, but it's very likely. There's just a lot of places where you can make silly mistakes, and if that happens, we're pretty lucky. The game is very generous with its deaths, so it makes for a pretty safe marathon run. You just kind of restart at the nearest beam of light, you'll see one coming up here.
I did a blind run of this the other day. I don't know if any of y'all got to catch that, but this game is really fun to play for the first time as well. And you'll be missing a lot of. It's a speedrun. It seemed to me like you said that you got stuck on a lot of the same things in the speedrun as you did casually.
Yep, especially when you're first learning things. A lot of these are really hard tricks to learn. We actually have our first cycle skip coming up, which we call the elevator skip. As you'll see here, these weren't moving before, and now they are, and I have to pay attention here. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Didn't make it. It's all right. We'll do it again. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. There we go. That should be fine. So if you do it that way, you actually skip an entire cycle of the elevators. Of course, if you get it first time, it's a lot faster. And in this section, you have to jump just before that white bar pops up, or else you get bopped into static, which is not good for your health. Here you have to time your jump, so you land on these after or as they appear, but definitely not before. This part looks scary, but really you just kind of jump in the middle there and you're fine. And we have another cycle skip coming up just before the first boss. Actually, the hardest boss of the speedrun, in my opinion. Okay, so we just hold right here, and I have to count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Oh, we missed it. Alright, we're just gonna do it the normal way then. So normally you're supposed to land on this as you jump through and skip that cycle, but we have to do it the slow way because I don't know a good setup after you miss it the first time. But as you can see, there was almost like little to no penalty for dying there. You just restarted right where I already was. All right, let's put your bets in chat. I'm going for 0 deaths, but it could easily be 1 or 2. Hopefully not 3. This is the first boss.
I think I got deathless in my...
You did, you show off.
I mean, I had never played the game otherwise, though. So, I mean, you can look at my Steam profile, but I'm hoping 0.
Yeah, I think we're good. Easy every time, except when it's not. All right, so now we grab another orb and start level 2. This run is actually any %, so we're only doing the first 3 levels because the game only shipped with 3 levels initially. Last year, the developers made another level, and it was, oops, that's never happened before. Standard marathon luck. Go a little slower just to be safe. But yeah, I considered doing all levels, but nobody in the speedrunning community seems to know level 4 that well. Oh, wow. Okay. We're just going to take a little bit longer here. No big deal. There we go. The hitboxes are pretty generous in this game. As you can see, I barely even touched the corner of that orb as I snagged it. A fun fact, when I was learning the speedrun, level 2 is the hardest for me to learn because I started with level 3, figuring I should start with the last level so I knew it down cold if a run ever got there. And then I decided to learn level 1 next, and just by that order of learning the levels, level 2 is the last one I learned. So when I was coming through here, initially I had nicknames for all these sections, so you saw us move past 2 bridges and then kind of wait in that spot, so I named them the U Bridge, the W Bridge, and the Lonely Spot. I don't think anyone else in the community calls them that, but those are my names. Alright, and now we gotta just roll off here, and then quickly jump back, and when that orb's in the bottom right corner, like that, we'll jump up here, snag this, roll left, and kind of leap of faith, but not the actual trick, the leap of faith, which we won't be doing today because it's hard. And we dunk yet another orb. This part, casually playing, is a real pain But if you just kind of hold left, you just skip it. So NBD. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You're really kind of sneaking in there early, and you can just kind of roll off here. Alright, so now we wait forever, because this section is where the leap of faith trick would happen normally if you're doing that, but it's just really risky. And I've done it maybe 4 times ever, and I've played this game a lot more than 4 times. Alright, rolling. Jump.
I think that's a different song.
Yeah.
Only 90s kids will get this joke.
No kidding. Alright, this section gave me a lot of trouble while I was learning it too. And I believe Ariel had a bit of struggle with this section during their blind playthrough. But we luckily made it through just fine. We go right now. And we're kind of coming up on the last section of level 2. Just wait for that to bop up there. Okay. Now the music's gonna do a neat thing. And when it does that, I kind of go upside down. I gotta count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a little early, but it should be okay. Alright, just sneak in here. So you'll notice sometimes I count with ands. 2, 3, and 4, and. That's because just going on the actual beat isn't enough granularity to get the trick you need, so you throw an and between each one to split them in half and you should be good. Those of you from my chat will know the little clap trick that I use. When you hear that snare, clap like that, that's when you're gonna fall. And it's pretty easy to tell when you're gonna jump because it's just for that part. Clap. Oh yeah, not needed there, but just wanted to do it for fun. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty much perfect. You want to spend as little time possible falling and as much time possible moving left there. Now we enter the auto-scroller of the game, pretty much mandatory for a good speed run. This is the easiest boss of the entire speed run. I don't know if it's exactly the same every time, but it's so similar that it's just pretty trivial. Though, you know, if you're not paying attention, of course, you still can get hit. If there are any donations, now's a good enough time to read them. Though I did think we got a bunch of those out of the way just before we started.
Yeah, we don't have any right now, but
I can keep talking. So the trick in this second phase here is that the top ones dash first and then the bottom ones go. So you just got to get away from the top ones first, and then you move out of the way of the bottom ones. Now we enter the last section of this boss, where instead of counting to 4, I count to 8, and on 5 I'll start moving. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then if you do that, he just kind of misses you every time. Fun note, this fellow's name's Gregory. Again, something I made up. Try and get it in the community. 5. And we just kind of dodge him a few more times. And then we're done. And we move on to level 3. Alright, so this is the last level of the speedrun. And probably features 2 of the sections that I have the most trouble with. I will highlight them as we get there. So we're going to wait till that other one kind of gets cornery instead of just being round, and then we can jump on it. There's a ridiculous skip you can do here called, I don't remember what it's called now. It's a pain though, and I don't like to do it. So it's a low chance of success for me right now. So we just do that the slow way. Oh no! There we go. Alright, so this is a really hard part, so I'm going to focus here. You have to listen. We're going to take it slow. You can get through there all at once, but it's a risky move. Alright. Whoops.
Jump.
Yeah, this part's really hard if you get off cycle. Oh. So tricky. We'll get through it eventually. Go, and we're just going to take it nice and slow. Just make sure we actually get through. Good. Alright, and this section, looks like we got the timing right, so we can just hold right and walk right into this sort of death machine here. So that section that gave us trouble was one of the ones I was worried about, but we managed to figure it out. Okay, we gotta wait for this to kind of rotate, so the one we want is at the bottom, like so. And dunk it. Good. 4, 1, 2, 3. Jump onto this. It bops you off. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Good. Go up here. Just get in the corner and hold right. And do a little hop so you don't get bopped into the static. And now we grab yet another orb. Just gonna wait right here for it. It is. And dunk. Actually learned a new setup for this section today, which is to jump at that light, and it just makes sure you're in a good spot to hit all of those without having to slow down. We're really coming up on the end here. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Alright. So this is the second last section before the final boss. This is scary because you have to just kind of eyeball it and make sure you land in the middle there. And if you try and go too early, you get staticked, and if you try and go too early here, you get crushed. So you actually have to wait. And go right now. Alright, now I have to focus. I'm about to do the Dream Crusher.
I have a $14 donation from Zet, who says, please imagine an additional 0 in this donation amount. You're doing great, Seraph.
Aw, we hecked up the... Thanks for that, Zed. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
No 140
Sorry if
IRL
I
here.
distracted you.
We're good. Alright, so I didn't get in first try, but once I did get in, we managed to get it right away, so that's pretty good. Now for the final boss. This is quote-unquote easy. You can still mess up, and I do need to pay attention. So I would like some serious time if possible. So what's happening here is my laser's firing on the beat. I don't control when the laser fires. And you have to point at the triangle pointing at you. Which doesn't seem too hard. You just have to find the triangle fast enough. RL knows, it gets a little complicated. Now, every other beat, I will turn once or twice in order. Without my say-so. It just kind of happens. So I have to find where I need to point, and then point away from that in a way that I'll rotate to point at the thing I need to hit. Very complicated. Alright, we're entering the last section. I don't even have time to explain how this works, just watch. I need to point away and towards. One more towards. And now I point away from where it's pointing. Okay, 3 towards. 2 towards. Last towards coming up. And away. Oh my gosh. At the very end, I messed up. It happens. We'll just do it again.
It's good, it's good. You got this.
Okay, towards. 2 more towards. 1 more towards. And away. Oh my gosh, I cannot do that last away. Alright, focusing up. Call it marathon nerds. Towards. 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 Away. There we go. Now we got it. Still sub 20. Very good for a marathon run. Our estimate was 25 minutes, I believe. So not bad
Yeah,
at
it was
all.
25. So yeah, definitely not bad.
Pretty happy with that.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. So that's 140. I'm sorry the encoder is probably looking real bad right now. It turns out it's hard to encode static.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but it's actually it's keeping up pretty well.
That's
Even the numbers are showing up in the top left.
Huzzah.
So it's not too bad. But yeah.
And that's 140.
So now you need to play the game in 3D, right?
Yeah, right.
It's like called 210.
Okay, so I think we need a few minutes of downtime to switch to my next game.
Yeah.
Get my commentator in here.